Hello, this is Mary Costello, founder and CEO of M44. Thanks for joining us today. In today's video, we will cover how M44 came to be, where we are heading, and an overview of M44's programs. Let's start with our mission statement. M44 is a national 501c3 organization that addresses unmet financial and other needs of persons living with stage 4 cancers. In addition to unique programming by and for our diverse community, M44 creates innovative, customized, rapid response solutions for individuals who lack fiscal resources, family, and adequate support systems. Our vision is a world in which no person living with cancer, regardless of stage, lacks the resources and supports needed to lead a happy, secure, peaceful, and full life. Our value statements are as follows. We believe in justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion. We all need community and a place of belonging. No one with stage 4 cancer should go it alone. We must create solutions if none currently exist. There is power in unity, diversity, and longer tables. M44 programs must be by and for our community. Patients are experts in and about their own lives. We must support and elevate intersectional voices. Cancer shouldn't pave the way to lifelong poverty, and healthcare is a fundamental human right. And now, a little bit about how we came to be. Calling is a funny thing. We can be chasing it for a long time, and we don't get to pick the timing of when it shows up. That's not to be mistaken for purpose, which I've always had, but finding that one mission that I wanted to devote the rest of my life to seemed a little elusive to me over more recent years. I had been interviewing for national executive director and CEO jobs in the nonprofit sector, and I had been one of the top candidates in many national search campaigns when I came across this opportunity in February of 2023 for a $25,000 More to Life grant to basically spend any way you wish to pursue your next chapter. It was the first time that I considered starting a nonprofit related to cancer because it was the first time that I came up with an idea that I didn't think anybody else was doing. Now, I didn't end up getting the grant, and I initially was thinking that it would fund the startup costs and that everything hinged on whether or not I ended up winning this. What I discovered afterward is that this needed to happen regardless. So this was a blessing. This is where our name came from. It was all about we're more than our diagnosis, and that our concerns are about more than just treatment itself. And what ended up happening after this in early March is what solidified it for me. This had to happen no matter what. In the first week of March 2023, I came across a post on a metastatic breast cancer patient forum that broke my heart. Not only did I share some of these personal experiences, but it was upsetting to me that there wasn't something I could do at that exact moment to help that person. If you view this on YouTube, you'll see that we're calling this person Sammy, but that's not their name. There are a lot of Sammys out there, and this is why M44 needs to exist. Let's watch.
I've rented a large studio apartment in a co-op building for the last 28 years. When I got my stage 4 metastatic breast cancer diagnosis, I made the mistake of telling my landlord. The next thing you know, she changed my annual lease to a month-to-month rental. She called me the other day and said she has plans to sell my apartment because she needs money to buy a second home. I was in tears, as you might imagine. She knows I have no family and no place to go. I don't even have money to hire moving men. Honestly, I think she just wants to make sure I'm out of here before I die. Nobody will want to rent to me. Even someone renting an extra bedroom wants somebody who's out of the house during the day. You know, somebody who has a job. Of course, they'll ask me how I get my money. And they'll want to know why I qualify for SSDI. And I'll have to tell them about my terminal cancer. I may wind up in a shelter, which I obviously don't want to do. I probably won't have a choice, though. Please pray that my landlord doesn't find a buyer before I pass. The stress of what lies ahead is just overwhelming.
More for Four has evolved into something much more complex than what I wrote in my 300-word More to Life essay entry. Back then, what I wrote was, More for Four will serve individuals with stage 4 cancers who lack fiscal resources, family, and adequate support systems, from house sharing to a nationwide apartment program, vehicles for those without transportation, multi-month rental assistance while waiting for Social Security disability insurance approvals, repairing teeth damaged by chemo, and more. More for Four will create innovative solutions where no other resources exist. Stage 4 patients want to live longer, but we must live well, as there is more to life than not dying. Together, we can offer stage 4 patients more opportunity, security, connection, answers, belonging, and hope. While those early ideas are still very much a part of the overall More for Four plan, you're about to see how this exploded into a very complex organization meeting multifaceted needs of the stage 4 community. As we move into where we are today and where we're heading, I'll just briefly review our historical timeline to date. In March 2023, I entered into the More to Life grant essay competition, which we did not win. Right before the submission, there was the online post that made it quite clear that More for Four had to occur, and we just had to figure out a way to get there. In July 2023, the initial board of directors was formalized. In terms of our basic membership, we are still looking for one more person to add to the initial board who will serve for our entire first year. Articles of incorporation were filed with the state of Maryland on August 14th, 2023, which turned out to be my 59th birthday and was a symbolic thing for me. The first meeting of our board of directors was held on August 31st, and that's where we adopted our bylaws, our articles of incorporation, and our early direction. On October 5th, 2023, we submitted our 1023 IRS application for 501c3 tax-exempt status. We are currently looking for a fiscal sponsor, and this video is being recorded in November 2023. So if you see on our website that we are a freestanding nonprofit, you are looking at this late. If you look at it and you see that nobody's listed, you're going to notice we're not taking donations yet. So it depends on when you see this. We are very busy working on building infrastructure and long-term strategic planning. And I've been a nonprofit consultant for a really long time, actually almost 20 years. I'm needing to take some of my own medicine here in the fact that I want to be up and running today. But I always tell people, you have to have your ducks in a row. I want to see everything on paper before you make that move. And so that's what we're doing. Everything from policies and procedures to job descriptions and minimally our 5-year budget projections. We already have a preliminary list of everything from jobs and when certain things are slotted to come online, but we are still fine tuning those things. We do expect that we will launch probably the first 3 programs in early to mid 2024. This is going to hinge on a number of things that we are about to talk about, in particular, bringing in some funding and other supports through volunteerism and so forth. So we will add to this timeline as we go. And now we'll move into our current state and what's up next. Our initial board of directors is led by 3 people. It's myself as the interim president, Karen Edsel as secretary, and Cameo Sherman as treasurer. I'm a social worker. My background is in administration of day and residential programs, and also almost 20 years as a nonprofit consultant. I specialize in that particular regard in helping new organizations get up and running and helping established organizations expand or improve their programming. My services as a consultant involve everything from strategic planning to fiscal development. So I have long had the experience and know-how to be able to start a new nonprofit. It was just only until this all came about that I decided to apply that to something that I'm actually leading. Again, because I did found an organization a while back. You will find information on our website about my background, my full bio, including my advocacy within the cancer realm, and also my full resume. Karen is somebody that I met through a support group. Karen also has metastatic breast cancer, as do I. And we met after she had a little trouble connecting to that call. And it was her first time going to this particular support group. I was new to it myself. For some reason, I just felt like she had to get in on that call. And then I asked the moderator if there was some way that they could give us emails so we can connect with people, because I just felt like I had to know Karen from the beginning. It was just this gut thing. So Karen, as of the day after when I reached out to her, has been steadfast in my life. Probably of all the people I've ever met, a true north for me. And I could not be more humbled and appreciative that she's decided to join in with More for Four and support the effort and bring what she brings to the table, which, by the way, she brings an awful lot. Karen has more than 20 years of professional experience in the nonprofit, educational, and governmental sectors, focused primarily on directing and providing oversight for federal, state, and local grant-funded programming and promoting meaningful volunteer service opportunities. She's a former attorney and served in the Peace Corps. She was a former county grants administrator and a grant writer at Johns Hopkins University, and the list goes on. She has so much to bring to the table, Habitat for Humanity, all these kinds of things. We're lucky to have her, and she is currently serving as our secretary. Again, you can learn more about Karen through our website. Cameo is somebody that I met through my consulting work, actually, as she was the director of programs and grants at Mama Dragons, a national nonprofit organization that teaches affirmative parenting skills to reduce suicide, depression, anxiety, self-harm, and homelessness among LGBTQ children and youth. She has a background as a birth doula and previously worked with NAMI, which is a mental health organization, if you're not familiar with it, reaching out to youth with mental health conditions. She's somebody that I clicked with immediately, and I'm just really fortunate that she found value in what we're doing. Now, she is not somebody who lives with cancer herself, but her mother did have breast cancer, early stage, and she did lose an uncle to stage 4 cancer. One of the things I want to mention is that in our bylaws, our board must consist of at least 51% of people who live with stage 4 cancers. So far, we have metastatic breast cancer fully covered for the time being. When I move to the paid CEO position, we'll need somebody else to come in to take my role. And then there will be an opening for somebody else who is from the metastatic breast cancer community. As it stands right now, though, we're looking at expanding to other types of cancer and bringing in men and women, both cis and trans, plus two-spirit and non-binary folks, and people from BIPOC and other marginalized communities. So we're looking at diversity, not only in who we are demographically, but also in terms of skill sets, lived experiences, and so forth. There is a seat at the table for everyone at More for Four. If you have stage 4 cancer, you do not need to be somebody with limited resources in order to be a part of our community. We invite everyone. And when I say everyone, I also mean friends, family, care partners, healthcare professionals, and the business community. Everyone has a place with More for Four. We are going to be looking at bringing on volunteers to serve on various committees. And the time allocations for those will vary depending on the function and where we are with things at any given time. You'll be able to find information about that on our website with a description of each committee, what the requirements are in terms of background in order to serve. Obviously, the finance committee is going to require that people have a background in accounting or bookkeeping. The same kind of things with personnel issues. It would be great to have some HR folks involved in that, but they must have progressive values when it comes to the 30-hour work week and similar policies and practices. We consider employees to be our partners and that kind of thing. It's a little bit of a different mentality about the employer-employee relationship. With our board of directors, we will be looking at expanding that over the coming year. Ideally, we'd like for people to serve on a committee before they join the board. And our steering committee is something that we are trying to build right now. Our steering committee will include people of all walks of life, lived experiences, and professional expertise. Meetings that we would have with the steering committee most likely won't be with the entire committee all at once unless there was something that was multifaceted with different aspects that require expertise from different fields. More likely, we would pull together the people who have the most to say about a certain topic, whether that's real estate folks who can help us with things like purchasing homes or tax write-offs for people who donate a home but stay in the home until they pass, things like that. Our DEI committee will ensure we are walking the walk and that in our policies and in our practice and even in our language choices, that we are always respectful and responsive to the needs of marginalized communities. The time commitment for committees will vary depending on where we are at any given time. The finance committee will meet quarterly, that kind of thing. You'll find information about this on the website. As for our clinical and business leadership advisories, the clinical advisory is called that because there are a lot of different clinical specialties that affect and support the stage 4 community. So that's everything from end-of-life doulas to oncologists to social workers, physical therapists. It could be anything that is related to our well-being. Certainly palliative care professionals, things like that. And we'll call upon them for things like trying to figure out how do we best support someone, in particular in our residential program, when their life is taking a turn in terms of their health and independence. What are they going to need that we're not realizing yet? So we're just looking for the experts to join us and help us make good decisions, plan ahead, and be everything we can be for our community. I'd like to now talk about how M44 is different. Before I do that, though, I do want to be very clear that I am not putting down any other organizations that support cancer patients. We're just going to take a different tact with this and look at where the gaps are and where we can fill those. With rare exceptions, we're not going to focus on medical or treatment-specific education. We will focus on the psychosocial aspects of life and functioning, which are going to end up being a little more uniform across different cancer types. We'll focus on the common struggles that we have. And I'll give you an example. How many people have friends and family and spouses who leave after a cancer diagnosis? That is a common experience. That is not just breast cancer or lung cancer or a rare cancer. We don't intend on duplicating services. So if we see that something already exists, that's a partnership that we want to make sure that we have, so that when somebody needs something, we know who to go to or who to recommend. But we do not intend on being a first stop for most needs if there is something else out there. If there isn't something out there, then we do feel obligated to create a solution. We are very hyper-focused on helping people feel welcome and that they have a home. And this is especially for people who go to support groups and feel like they just don't fit. This is, of course, folks from different marginalized communities with different intersectional identities and so forth. So we are looking at, again, filling gaps and helping people find what they need in order to function at their best and feel healthy and happy and connected. intersectionality is really, really big for us. And it has a lot to do with why we were started in the first place. This is all about community and connection and people feeling that they have a home. And we can adjust to make sure that they have that. If that means a new support group, an interest group, whatever it might be. So our door is always open for new suggestions about how we could do things better to make sure that everybody's needs are getting met. And when I say that, I mean to the best of anybody's ability. But we're not going to say, oh, we don't do that. No, we can do anything if we put our minds to it and we have the right input from the people around us and so forth. We are very innovative in that regard. We are person-centered in all we do. It is not ever a thing where there is a one-size-fits-all. As I just said, we're not going to say, oh, we don't do that. We're going to try to create solutions around a person's unique needs. And that means that we're going to tap into all kinds of different programming within More4, but also having partnerships and resources collected that we're on top of all the time in terms of how they change too, when things are available, when they're not, so that we can customize solutions and supports for people when they most need them. We do live in an endless world of possibilities. We do not believe that there aren't answers to most things. Now, can we be the answer for everyone? Well, probably not, but the reality is that a lot of that comes down to funding and support and the people that we have involved in More4's activities. So we do believe that we probably can create solutions to most problems. And that just takes a lot of commitment and thinking outside the box, or rather with where we are, we don't have a box. So if you are interested in all of that kind of stuff, I hope you'll join us. And with the last slide before this, I just want to mention that anybody who wants to engage right now can reach out to me by email at marycause@more4.org. And now our programs. Before I get into what it is we intend to do, I'm going to point out our logo. It is not a shamrock. It is a 4-leaf clover. And all of our programming comes down to faith, hope, love, and luck. If you'd like to learn more about this, there is actually a blog post on our website that explains the symbolism behind this for me, both personally and for the organization itself. More4 has identified 7 key programs that will be introduced incrementally over the coming years. Canna Cares, Rapid Response, Home Matters, Jedi Action, More Core, Imagine Stage 4 Job Corps, and the M44 Legacy Store. These programs will be full-time endeavors, and they will be of equal importance. Somebody that's coming to More4 may actually benefit from each and every one of these programs simultaneously. Obviously, one look at this, and you can see how More4 has taken on a life of its own. We do have very ambitious plans for coming years, and even for where we are today. If you are somebody that's looking for a job, you could actually look at this and see when certain positions are, as of right now, slotted to come on board. One of the things that's probably most important about this is that we don't think small. And I have always believed that if your goals and dreams do not at least scare you a little bit, you're not thinking big enough.